Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. So, just a quick recap what we did last time. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jay, can you tell me?
So you said about isolate layers and changing the current layer and copy
Okay,
objects to the new layer and match layer, layer walk, layer states,
yes.
merge.
Okay. So, we have seen the properties as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's move next. Now, we'll be seeing hatch. What are hatchings? Okay. So, we'll be seeing hatch. And after that, we'll go on to dimensions. So, let's start. Hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Anyone has any questions or any doubts? Okay. So let me just create some more layers.
So can you explain about the practice work which you should be doing?
What explanation do you need?
So that practice work which you give, the Android ID.
Yeah, so you're going to perform the task that I have given. Okay. So over here, different tasks are there that you have to perform. And of course, I'm not going to show any of this completely. Okay. Just you're going to try it out wherever you face a problem. I'll be helping you out, but I'm not going to show anything of this that are completely that to show you like a complete exercise creating everything, because we have done all these concepts. Okay, you have to apply the same concepts, and these are some easy of it. So having 50 distance of lines and all these things, having fillet options over here with radius 2.5, all these things are easy, not a hard thing that I have given something. So you can just create this one is also too easy. You can create the whole thing, then make it as a join object, then give an offset 4.75. This way you can work, you can have your own methods. Of course, if you face any problem, you're not able to understand what you have to create at some point, let me know. I'll be helping you out with it. So you'll be sharing your screen wherever you face a problem, and I'll help you out. Hope that's clear to you.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Coming back over here, let me just create layers. Okay. Perfect. Now coming over here, we have hatch. Before starting with hatch, I'll just create two rectangles over here. So over here in the draw panel, you get an hatch option. So if I click on hatch, a panel changes and hatch creates a panel opens for you. Now we have different options to create it. So first is your pick point. So if I click on pick point and if I hover over this, you can see a pattern being created over here. Same for this as well. If you want a solid pattern, I can click on solid and you can see solid pattern being created. Of course, whatever the hatch you are creating right now will be in the current layer. So our current layer was zeroth layer. So over there it is trying to create. So if I click once over here, the hatch is created for the solid. If I create over here as well, it is created. So I'll click on close hatch creation. Now when I'm hovering over this, you can see I created both the things. I clicked once over here and over here. Both the things are created together. Okay. So if you want to create hatch patterns separately, you'll have to click on this one, close hatch editor, and again do it. So I'll just delete this one, go to hatch. You can see over here there are options over here. Don't retain boundaries, retain boundaries polyline, retain boundaries region. We'll see what are these options. Okay, and use current viewport. So viewport, which viewport you want this current viewport only to do it. So coming over here, hatch, click on pick points, and in the pick points I'm clicking this. After you have created one, give close hatch creation. Again come to hatch, again click on pick points, then I can click over here and close hatch creation. Now these are like two separate hatches. Why two separate hatches? Now you can just make changes to this individually. Okay, if you would have created both of this together, you couldn't have made changes individually. Both would have been changed together. So that is why you are having hatch options over here differently now, because this can have as a lines and this can behave as a solid completely. So this is the way to create it. So the first thing we have seen to hatch is by pick points. Another is select. So we have to select boundary objects, and using that it creates. So I have to not click in center between anywhere. I have to pick the boundary of this. So you can see boundary I am picking. For this as well, I'm picking the boundary. So this time if I'm going to try to pick the boundary, you can see a plus sign near my crosshair. That is, your small square is there near that. It says that it will add to this hatch, only one more hatch pattern will be added, and they both will be together. Okay, so that is why you're getting a plus sign over here. And if I give close hatch creation, if I try to select one, you can see both are being selected. Now if I make any changes to this, it will be applying to the board together. Okay, so you can see it is applying to both together. So it depends on you, you want to create it together or separately. But let's say by mistakenly you create both of this together and you want to separate this out. So come to here options, and over here you have an option to create separate hatches. So I'll just click on separate hatches, and now you can see these both are now individual. So they are now a separate hatch, they are not together. Okay, so now if I make changes to this individually, the changes are applied. So this is the way to do it. Coming back over here, these are the patterns. So we have different kinds of patterns. So first is solid, and that you are having a solid color. After that we are having patterns. So you can see different kinds of patterns are over here. So brick patterns and all this stone clay pattern. This is what is having. These are your gradients. So if I click, come over here, click on gradients. Gradients are this type of colors. I'll just show you how gradients look. So hatch, coming over here, gradients. I click and select this object. You can see these are your gradients. So gradient colors can be changed. So coming over here, you can see blue, red, yellow. You can make the changes accordingly how you want. So you can make the changes to it. So that is your gradient. And after that, if you come over here, user defined is like you can define any pattern. If you have created, you can just use it. So user defined patterns are there, and you can see over here the user defined pattern. You can see over here. So these are the ways to create your hatches. Now we have different options in it. Let's see one by one everything. What are the features, what are the things you can make changes to? So coming over here, let's see, make pattern and pick point. Just a second. Okay. So coming over here, you have created the pattern. Now in this pattern, you can make changes. Changes are like transparency. We can change the transparency of it. So you can make it how much you want the transparency. So if I give escape, you can see at the 84% transparent. After that, you have angle. If you want to change the angle of this lines, you can change how you want it. So you can change the angles accordingly up to 360 degrees. Okay. And let's say you want to increase the scale of this. So over here we have scaling. So this is getting larger. If you want to reduce it, so you can see the density is changing of the pattern. So this is used for the density of the pattern. Okay. So you can increase it or you can decrease it depending upon your needs. So these are the different things you can make changes to. Of course, if you are using a solid pattern, okay, so this is a solid pattern. Now if you select this solid pattern, you cannot change the angle because it is a completely solid and there is no angle for this. So you can select it. I can reduce the transparency and increase the transparency. So you can see this is a white color, but of course you cannot change the angle, you cannot change the scale because this is completely solid. After that, if you come over here, let's say you want to change the layer in which it is created or you want to change the color. So you can change the color from here, and over here we can change the background. So this is your background. So you can see over here the pattern is in white color and the background is in different color. If I want to change the pattern color as well, to come over here and make the changes. So if I use red, yellow, you can see over here the pattern color changes. So we have pattern color different and the background colors differently created. Now let's say by default every time in the current actually, so coming over here, you are in the current layer, okay, but you don't want that anytime hatch is created, you don't want this layer to be used. Now for default you can make another thing changes. So coming over here to the properties, I can make that only red color it should be created. Okay, whenever I create a hatch pattern it should be red color. This is what I want. So if I create a rectangle now, this is of course in the zeroth layer, but when I go to hatch, can you see it is being created in the red layer? I'll just give close hatch creation. So if I select this, it is created in red bilayer. So even if my current layer over here is zeroth layer, still my hatch pattern will always be created in this layer because I have given something as default, that is your red color. Okay, that is your red layer. Is it clear? Any questions up till here? Anyone is having? Yes, anyone has any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. After that, just delete this patterns. Okay. Again, coming to hatch, next thing that we are having is over here associative property. Now what is associative property? See, one I will create with the help of associative and one I will create with without associative property. So this I'm clicking over here. I have created close hatch creation, and without associative one I'll give different color so we can just understand it. It's a green color, and this is not non-associative. Okay, and close hatch creation. Now this one is associative and this one is non-associative. Now what is the difference? See, what happens is that if I select this polyline and if I extend this, you can see that it is changing, the hatch pattern is changing with the boundaries itself. If I change the polyline of this non-associative one, can you see it is not changing along with its boundaries? Okay, even if I am changing anywhere like this, the boundaries are not changing. So over here this is associative and this is non-associative. From this you can understand associative one with the boundaries change, hatch pattern will change. Non-associative one, the boundaries will change, pattern will not change. Now if you come over here, if I select this, you get separate boundaries for this hatch pattern. Okay, but over here you don't get this kind of boundaries. So you can see if I change or get it outside, now it gets boundaries. But before, if I select, it does not have any boundaries over here, but this one has boundaries. Okay, so this says that you can manually just adjust how you want it. So if I want, I can just come over here, I can pick the corners. That's it. Okay, so this way your associative and non-associative works. Is that clear? After that, you are having an origin option. Now, what is an origin? For that, I'll just change the scale of this. If you observe properly, the line does not start at this corner, but I want this lines to be starting at this corner point, and then only the pattern should start. So if I select pattern, I get an option of set origin. So I'll click on set origin. I'll click on this, and you can see the origin of the line starts from here. So whatever the pattern is starting will start from this corner, and then it will change. Same for this. If it is not starting at this corner, or let's say this corner you want it, so select this hatch, click on set origin, and pick this point. So you can see now the line is starting at this corner perfectly. Now we don't have just the line pattern, we have different kinds of pattern. So you can see this kind of pattern is also there, but still the origin point starts over here only. If you don't want over there, you can see over here it is not starting the origin. So select it, click on set origin, and select this corner point. Now you can see the line starts from this corner point. So that is your set origin options. After that, over here we have different kinds of options. Now what is gap tolerance over here? So gap tolerance is that if there is a slight gap in between this, okay, so in this line, let's say we are having some gap. So okay, so you can see a gap is over here, and let's try to create hatch, and we'll change this to 0. Let's just check. And so it says a closed boundary cannot be determined. There might be gaps between the boundary objects. Okay. And you can see it has shown a red marking over here that there is a gap over here. Now, if I increase the gap tolerance, okay. So let's say I go over here and increase the gap tolerance to, let's say, 500. Let's check if this works out. And coming over here, I'm trying to create a pattern. You can see as I increase my gap tolerance, so it says that tolerance, can anyone tell me what is a tolerance? Yes, what do you mean by tolerance? Anyone?
Upper limit, lower limit.
Yeah, limit you can say.
Yeah.
So how much it can sustain, okay, how much it can take. So that is your tolerance. Okay, so over here the tolerance is you have to give how much tolerance it is going to take. So let's say up till 500 is okay, but beyond that you can create it. Okay, so below 500 don't consider it. Like this type of things are there. So let's say over here I gave 500 value. So if the gap is more than 500, okay, so don't give it. Okay, but if it is less than 500, create the hatch pattern. So this kind of gap tolerance option is over here. So that is your gap tolerance. Again, going back to hatch, after that we have having create separate hatches. We have seen this option how it works. Now let's see outer island detection. What is that? Normal island detection, ignore island detection, and no island detection. Let's see. For that I have to create separate geometries. Okay, let's say I have created this, and between small ellipse I'll just click. Okay. Now coming over here, if I go to hatch, and first is your outer island detection. Okay. So let's see first normal island detection. What is normal island detection is that normally it takes into the consideration the island. Okay. So coming over here, you can see normally it is taking the things. Okay. So this is your normal island detection, and this you can see the inner part it is not taking into consideration because this is somewhat a separate part, and the outer part is also taking up till the boundaries portion only. Okay, same over here. So this is your normal island detection. After that we are having is outer island detection. So this is also mostly same as that. Okay, so you can see simple, not many difference in this. It is also same normal island detection. After that you are having is ignore island detection. Now what happens in ignore? When I am trying to hover this, you can see that it is trying to ignore the ellipse inside. Okay, it is creating hatch pattern on the ellipse inside also. So this is how it works. So that is your ignore island detection. Okay, and after that you are having is no island detection. So same, it does not have any island in between. Okay, so this is how your different options works. After that you are having something called as send to back, send to front, all these options. So I'll just create over here, and I'll show you hatch. I'll just create solid. Okay, perfect. Now if I go to options over here, I'll just close if you want. If I select this, I go to options. Now over here you see that uh, over here send to back and bring to front, these are the options that you have. Now what is send to back? If I click on send to back and give close hatch editor, when I am trying to hover the line, the first thing that will be always selected is polyline. Now I am having selection cycling turn on. Let's say I turn off my selection cycling. Now each time I am trying to pick this, it is on the line. Okay, exactly on the line, it is always going to pick my polyline because your hatch pattern is behind. Okay, on this perfect line edge, if you are trying to pick, it will always pick the line. Right now you can see it will always pick the polyline. But let's say I pick this hatch pattern and I make the changes. I'll say bring to front and come over here. Now if I am trying to hover, it will never pick the line, it is just picking the hatch pattern. You can see over here, even if I am doing on the edge only. Now see, I'm on the edge only, but it is never going to pick my polyline. That is why your selection cycling of option helps you a lot most of the time. So if I click on this, it asks me should select hatch or it should select polyline. Okay, so it always gives me this option. So if I hover over this, you can see hatch and polyline option. Is that clear? Any questions in this?
So can you repeat this?
Yeah, I'll show one more example. See what is send to front and send to back. I'll just create a rectangle and type over here a text. Okay, perfect. This I'm getting over here. Okay, good enough. Now let's say I create a hatch pattern over here, and let's say I give red. Okay, and instead of solid, I'll just say pattern, and I have created the pattern. Close hatch boundary. Now, if you observe properly, the lines of the pattern are going behind the text. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, they are going behind the text, not in front of the text. So this is text is in the front, pattern is in the background. Now, if I select this, okay, I come over here and I see bring to front. Can you see the lines are passing over the text? Can you see over here? Over the text, the lines are passing now. Is it clear now what is bring to front and send to back option? So if I
Yes, sir.
select this, I go to options, I send it to back and give escape. Now you can see the lines are going behind the text. So similarly, if you go to polyline over here, what should be in the front and what should be in the back. This is how it works on the edges as well. Hope this is clear to everyone. Any questions in this? So this pattern that was created with ignore island detection. Now if the same thing I delete it and if I create with the help of island detection options, and you can see normal island detection. Okay, can you see over here a box is formed, a rectangle box is formed outside of the text. So it detects the island over here, that is your text island, and according to that it was created. Okay, is that clear? So that is your island detection, how it works. Any questions in this? Any doubts anyone is having?
Sir, also can you say about
Yes,
the
sir.
gap tolerance?
Yeah,
Gap tolerance.
gap tolerance. Okay, I'll just tell you again. So over here, let's say you have break the line. Okay, and this distance, let's see how much is the distance from this point to this point. Can you see it is 0.1? Okay, so if I give zero tolerance, what is zero tolerance is that I cannot tolerate anything. Okay, beyond zero. Okay, whatever the values of gap may be there over here, it should be not consider, and you should create you should not create a hatch if there is a gap over here. So if I'm clicking over here, can you see it is saying the hatch boundary is not closed? What do you want to do? Continue hatching or do not hatch this area? You are getting a warning because over here there is a break. Okay, so this is not a complete region or a complete boundary it is detecting. Now let's say I increase this value. So coming to hatch options, okay, this is 500. So let's make it 0. It will not give any warning now. Just see. So 0, I'm trying to pick over here. It is saying a closed boundary cannot be determined. There might be gaps between the boundary objects. Okay, so over here you can see it is marking me the boundaries where it is not continuous. Okay, there is a gap in between. Now this gap it is telling me because it is having some problem. So let's increase this number to 10. Let's say I increase this to 10. Okay, it's done. And now if I try to create, now it says that the boundary is not closed, but still do you want to do it? So I'll say yes, continue hatching this area and it will create the hatch even if the gap is still there. Okay, even if the gap exists, if I come over here, can you see the gap still exists? But it asks me a warning that okay, your gap tolerance is this much. So it is okay to create it, but still you want to create it or not to create it. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir, but where it will be useful, sir? Where we will
Uh,
use?
yeah, so some of the places your boundary may not be closed properly. You might know that it is okay, my boundary is not closed, but I want to somehow create the hatch. At that places, you can just increase the gap tolerance and create it.
Okay, we can increase the gap tolerance and we can use the hatch.
Yeah, we can use the hatch.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that's all about your hatch patterns. Now we'll go to dimensions. For that, I'll just open another file.
Sir, is there any limit to increase the gap or is there any particular limit?
No, you can just put the numbers over there. So no limits.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, of course, we have dimension pattern. Okay, dimension styles are there, but first we'll be seeing a simple dimensions, how to create dimensions, and after that we'll go to dimension styles. So dimension styles are how you represent your dimensions. So these are your dimension lines you can see in the white color, and whatever the numbers are there, angles are there, which color you want, what should be the font of it. All these are known as styles. Okay, so these are your styles. So the styles we'll be seeing later. Right now we'll see what are the basics of it. So coming over here, let's see the basics. So I'll just turn on F7. Okay. Now when you come over here for the annotation, you can give the dimensions from here. So you have linear, aligned, angular options, or you can go to the annotate tab, and inside this also you are having the options to do it. So if I drop down this, you can see linear, aligned, angular, arc length, radius, diameter, jog, and ordinate. Now let's see what are those different types, where it should be used, and can we have any other method instead of using this options? Can we have some another method to do these things? So let's go to home. First thing, I'll use linear. Linear means that straight, like horizontal or vertical. So if I take from this point to over here, this point, you can see this is a straight. Okay, that is your horizontal, or let's say vertical. So this is still a linear, and I have taken this. Okay. Now coming over here, how to take shortcuts for this? Just remember that you have to put D before the two letters of this. So if I want to use shortcut for linear, I have to use DLI. If I want to use shortcut for aligned, I have to use DAL. So two letters of first two letters of this whatever is written over here, and just add D to its start. So D angular you want to create, just add D to it. D arc you want to create, so DAL arc length. So this way it is going to work. So DAR, you can see dim arc. Okay, if you want to create linear, so DLI, so dim linear. Okay, this way you can just make your shortcuts. I hope that is clear how the shortcuts will be. So radius if I want to create, so what will be the shortcut? Can anyone tell me?
DRA.
Yeah, DRA. So you can see dim radius. Okay, dim means dimension and radius means further radius type. So coming back over here, I'm giving shortcut DLI, and I have created from this point to this point, and you can see over here the dimension created. Now coming over here, if you go to try and have this slant over here, okay, this slanting line you can see over here, this I want to take the dimension of it. So what is the total dimension? So if I use the same DLI and pick this point and pick this point, now you can see it is showing me either horizontal or either vertical. So if you are moving up and down, it is showing me horizontal distance. If you are moving left and right, it is showing me vertical distance, but it is not giving me slant distance over here. Okay, it is not giving me that. It is giving just the horizontal or the vertical distance over here. So to get a slant distance, you have another option, that is aligned. So give the shortcut DAL, dim align, and now pick this point to this point, and you can see the aligned distance, that is the aligned to the line. Okay, so now whichever line may be there, so if I am creating this one, like this one, so you cannot use the DLI, that is your dim linear option. So you can see it is getting horizontal or either left right. If you are moving over here, you are not getting left right also. Yeah, so left right if you are moving, so you are getting vertical distance, but you are not getting an aligned distance to this. For that we have to use DAL, dim align, and from this point to this point, and you are getting this option. Okay, so this is how dim aligned works. After that, what is that? Let's see. We have angular option. Now let's take angle. Now let's say we want to take angle between this line to this line, so give DAN, dim angular. So this point to this point, and you can see 90-degree angle being created. Okay, if you go to the opposite side, it will extend the line and then create the 90-degree option. Let's say we want to take between this line and this line, give the same DAN, this line to this line, and it is creating 105 degree. If you come to over here, it takes extension of the left line and it creates an angle of 75 degree. Or if you come downwards, you can see 105 degree extension of both the lines. If you come to the left, extension of one of the line, that is to the right, and then 75 degrees. So this is how you can create angles. Same over here, let's say this line, 35, 145, again 35, and 145 over here. So you can just decide it. If it is not able to fit the text, it will send the arrows outside and then it will try to fit in over here. Okay. Or otherwise, if the text is fitting like this, you can have the text in the center as well, and again your lines to the side of it. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next time we have arc length. Now arc length over here, if you see, this is the arc. We are having a arc length. Now arc length is represented with an symbol like this at the start of it. So you can decide if you want the symbol or not, or don't want the symbol, but it is good to understand it is an arc length. We'll at the time of dimension style we'll see how to disable and enable this arc length option. So we are having this as our arc length. So you can see 31. This comma the means decimal point only, nothing else. So 3142. That is your arc of this. Of course, the arc length DAR cannot give you the circle length, okay, or the circle circumference. It will not be giving you. So you can see I'm trying to click. It is specifically for the arc only. So I have to create an arc, and you can give DAR. Select this, and you can see for the specifically for the arc only. After that, we are having is radius. So click on this radius. Coming over here, if I hover over the circle, you can see over here, click, and we get the radius. So you can see radius is always given by r. Okay, diameter will be given by a phi symbol, radius will be given by r. So r will be over here, and then you can create it. Coming back over here, if I want it inside, you can have it inside. If you want the radius should be shown from the out, go to the out. So you can see it is showing from the outside, go to the inside, it will show from inside. So it depends on you. So what will be the shortcut for d radius? It is DRA. After that, you are having diameter. So I'll click on diameter, click over here, and you can see the symbol for the diameter. It is showing phi over here. So from this you can understand the different symbols. So diameter is phi, radius is r, and arc length is having like this semicircle. If you want to show the diameter inside, you can click over here, click, and we can have it from inside. So this way you can have it. I'll just delete it. It is creating too much of crowd. After that, what we are having is ordinate. Now what is ordinate? Ordinate is your xy points. Okay, so click over here, and if you move to the left, you'll be getting your x. Again, click on dim ordinate. So coming over here. Now, how to find the xy coordinates of this point? I had told you. Does anyone remember?
In utilities, sir, ID point.
Yeah, perfect. So over here we have ID point, and click on this point, and you get X, Y, Z options over here. So this is actually, sorry, this is your Y and this is your X. So if I click over here, you can see X 192.24259. So it has just round off the figure up till 23, and over here 9967. Okay, so this way you're having the ordinate points. So you can take xy points anywhere you want to show. You can just show your xy points where you think. So this is your ordinates. After that, if you come over here, you have having a jogged. Now does anyone remember know what is jogged? Why jogged is being used? A jogged radius. So I'll just show you how this is. So you can see like this way it is showing as a jogged. If I want to create one more, so this is your jogged radius. Okay, so 90-degree jogged is there. We can change the angle from the dim style. So if I press D, go to dim style over here, I can go and modify, and in that we have jog style over here. So symbols and arrows, yeah, jog angle. Let's say if we want 60, so we can have 60. Click on OK, close, and let's say we give DJO, that is your dim jogged. Select this, click over here, and you can see now we are having a 60-degree angle instead of 90-degree. But what is the need of showing radius this way? Yes, does anyone know why we use jog?
Don't know, sir.
Okay. So what happens is that most of the time when you create a sheet, your center of this arc may not lie exactly on the sheet portion. So if I come over here, this is my arc and this is, let's say this is my complete sheet. Now if you try to locate the center of this center is not exactly over here. I have to zoom out and you can see the center is outside. So whenever the sheet center does not, the center of this arc does not lie over here, that is on the sheet, that time we use jog, because it is a far apart. So if I have to give radius for it, just observe what will happen. Radius option I'm using, can you see it is trying to send the center line up till the point over here. So that is why we generally use jogged, where the center may not be lying on the sheet. Is that clear? Is it clear to everyone or any doubts in that? After that, we have over here grip points. Now let's see what different grip points work and how they work. Okay, so coming over here, if I select this, okay, and if you hover over the center, you get different options for this grip points, that is of the annotation part. Now what are these different options? First is stretch. Stretches, you can stretch it anywhere, okay, up till here or this point. You can have this text to the left side as well, okay, that is your stretch option. So we can just click on this and also move it. No need to go and click the stretch option. If I hover, after that we have move with dimension line. So you can see we are able to move it with dimension line anywhere we want it. After that we have move text only. So I can move text over here, I can move the text anywhere I want. Only dimension line is not at all moving, and I can just simply select this, hover over this, move text only, and I can move it anywhere I want. So that is your move text option. After that, if I hover over this, we have move with leader. So we can create a leader line. So this is your leader line. We'll be seeing more again about the leader line. So this line that you are having, okay, this line, slant line, and this horizontal, that is your leader line. This is your landing line, okay, on which this number is appearing. So this is your landing line. So if you select, again hover over this, again same. Above dimension line, if you want it, click on above dimension line, and you can see this is above dimension line. Hover over this, let's say we want it centered vertically, so we have this centered now, and I can just change it over here. So you can see a gap created in between, and this is center in the vertical. Again I can select this and I can just say reset text position. So it will go exactly before what it was there. It will reset back to its original position. So this way you are having the options for the linear dimensions. Now let's say if I create radius over here, that is DRA, what options do we get in this? So over here, if you hover, the same thing you can see: stretch, move with dimension line, move text only, above dim line, center vertically, and reset. So center vertically you can see over here, and again reset text position. So coming back to this, we have another option. If you go over here, it gives flip arrow option. Flip arrow is that if you want the arrow to be inside, you can have flip arrow. And let's say you want to stretch it, so you can stretch it anywhere. These are the options that you get. If I hover over the center, you do not get any option. So grip points, we are having this only. You can have it move text only. You can move the text inside. You can flip the arrow again. So this way you can adjust however you want it. Any questions or any doubts in this?
Clear, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So dimension style will start tomorrow only, because we have to take that continuously. So we have over here ISO 25. You can create your own. Okay, let's do some of the points. So if you want to create your new, so you can have to click on new, and it asks to start with something. Okay, so right now you can see it is saying new style name, copy of ISO 25. So over here, what default you are having of that, it is trying to have a copy to start with something. Okay, so we have over here start with ISO 25, and in this I can see, let's see, name Phoenix and say continue. So a new Phoenix is created. Now over here we can have all the options. Now first things, from the lines we can start, or let's say I can use ISO 25 and I can modify the default one only. Okay, so this way we can do, but generally don't modify the default ones when you are using a project. Try to create your own new styles, and after that only start working on it. Continue, and you have to click on OK, then only Phoenix is created. If you don't click on OK, the Phoenix will not be created. Now you can use the Phoenix option and we can click on modify. Now over here we have to start with lines. Now lines, what color do you want? Okay, you can say by layer, so whichever layer you are having, in that it will be created. Again, after that we have red colors, we have yellow colors, cyan, green, okay, blue, magenta, or you have to select colors. We can again have this color selection panel over here. So generally we keep it by layer and we create a separate layer that is of the dimension. So you can easily observe the same thing happening over here. After that, what is the line type? So you can click on other. You can load line types over here, same as your layers. So if you want this type of line, you can load, I can use over here and click OK. Okay, so I can have the changes over here, but generally we'll keep it by layer only for that as well. After that, line weight, what should be the line weights? So you can see immediately the changes. So this is preview available for you immediately over here. According to that you can decide. Now what is baseline spacing? So even if you increase over here, you will not see any change. We'll see that tomorrow, what is baseline spacing. After that we have suppress option over here. So the line that you are having over here, see, this is known as your dimension line. This center line that you are having, that is going horizontally, that is your dimension line. The lines that you are seeing at the sides like this, coming from the original diagram, that is known as your extension line. These are your arrows. Okay, these are your arrows and this is your text. So this is how simply your line works. So extension line we have dimension line and the text and the arrows over here. Okay, we'll continue this tomorrow. Any questions or any doubts in this? Okay, let me take the attendance. Yes, someone is trying to say something. Divya,
Yes, sir.
Ajay,
Yes, sir.
Samir,
Yes, sir.
Pavan. Asif,
Yes, sir.
Nawaz,
Yes, sir.
Nivedita, Shubham,
Yes, sir.
Giteshwari, Aisha,
Yes, sir.
Akash, Meenu, Riaz, Fahad,
Yes, sir.
Soleha,
Present, sir.
Somya Devi. Okay, so that's it for today. Practice and just give me 1 second. I'll make someone wait for the individual call.
Actually, sir, I was having doubt.
Yes, tell me.
Sir, can I share my screen?
Yes, of course, you can share your screen.
Is it my screen visible?
Yeah, your screen is visible.
Sir, if I type like a dim style,
Okay.
there was error. Like if I go to modify, like this was blown, like this was bug type created, sir.
Okay. You're getting this in ISO 2.5 only, or check others. Just cancel it
Uh, okay.
and open standard one. Okay, that's completely a bug that you're having.
Okay, sir. Any solution?
No, you'll have to check on Google only. Go to AutoCAD and just type over there this type of bug is there, and if there are any solution. A solution can be like next versions are there. So 2021.2 or point 0.3 of AutoCAD can be there. You have to update your AutoCAD accordingly.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
yeah. Thank you. Soleha, wait for the individual call. Others can leave.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank